Set in 1974, this movie tells a story about a White House transcriber, Connie, who is thrust into the Watergate scandal when she obtains the only copy of the infamous 18.5-minute gap in President Nixon's tapes. This movie is a tantalizing historical fiction concept as it tries to capture the paranoia and anxiety of the times. Unfortunately, it's a wayward and very pedestrian film. The plot is haphazard while the tone is inconsistent. To make it worse, the story is predictable and the pacing is lethargic. The movie tries to meld a political thriller with a larger-than-life comedy, a decision that means that the cast performances are completely out of sync tonally. In fact, the movie doesn't seem to know what it wants to be. It attempts to be part thriller, part romantic comedy, part screwball comedy, and part mood piece. The movie is using some visual technique akin to 70s cinema and certain feel of play with the cast, but these attempts fall painfully flat nearly all of the time. Once it's time for Connie to show Paul what's on the tape, that's where the movie trips itself up and never quite recovers. Everyone involved is shifting to a comedic approach. It also creates a plot contrivance as Connie and Paul need a player to listen to the tape but cannot find one. The comedy keeps dying on the vine here, and the romance between the leads never believably flowers. Connie tells Paul that her husband died in Vietnam. This is a key scene that is rushed through and played nearly in silhouette, which blunts any impact it might have. The movie lets other characters take over the runtime for quite some time in scenes that play like extended improvisations, and these go on for so long that any narrative tension from the first effective scene of Connie in her car is forgotten. It becomes grating and it adds very little to the characters. The more the movie approaching its final destination, the more distracted it gets from its premise. It's clear that the filmmaker is hoping for chemistry and inspiration to make the movie comes alive, but none of its ingredients work well together. So it's really difficult to care about or even follow its narrative, which by the end throws in an unconvincing physical fight and a red herring about Howard Hughes. A jarring ending wraps up an unusual but underwhelming fictional flashback. The movie is eventually giving up and coming to an unsatisfying conclusion. Overall, this movie is not really worth your time. We do not recommend this movie at all.